What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of The Modern Philosopher. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe because I'm trying to get rich and famous, and I can't do it without you guys' help. So today we're going to be talking about relationships, all right? I want to say this. I'm not a relationship expert. I'm just an observer. I say that because I think a lot of us get too caught up on, people's credentials and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about because you haven't been through this, whatever. So I'm just an observer, and I observe the world that I live in, and then I make these videos out of those observations, right? So first, I want to start off by defining a relationship, or what it is, right? A relationship is, a relationship is the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected or the state of being connected. So, first thing I want to ask you guys is, what is the purpose of being in a relationship? Well, it's very simple. And it's so simple, you guys are probably going to think that I'm an idiot when I say this, but it's very simple what the purpose of being in a relationship is. Are you ready for this? The purpose of being in a relationship is to be in a relationship, okay? Too many of us are entering into relationships with other people trying to gauge what we can get out of it, right? We look at a relationship as if it's a business type of relationship, like we're supposed to be benefiting from this. But in reality, the only real reason for being in a relationship is that you actually want to be in a relationship. You actually want to be in a relationship with someone that you want to connect with, someone that you want to be vulnerable with, someone that you want to spend your life with, right? That's the point of being in a relationship, to have someone by your side. So when I see all these people talking about like, oh, she has to look like this or he has to look like that, it's kind of like you want to make what is a business transaction and turn it into an emotional connection. And those two cannot be any further from each other, because in business you kind of have to take your emotions out of it. And if you want to put your emotions into something, you really can't have a business transaction. So if you're heading into a relationship asking yourself what you can get out of it or what you can benefit from being in that relationship, already you're looking at that relationship in the wrong aspect, and more than likely it's going to fail because you're going at it with the mindset that it's supposed to benefit you, when the only purpose of being in a relationship is to actually be in that relationship. What makes a relationship beneficial for both people is the fact that you get to learn who somebody is. You get to live with someone. You get to connect with someone. You get to have someone to, live the rest of your life with. A lot of us don't want to live alone. A lot of us don't want to be alone for the rest of our lives. We crave that kind of connection, that deep connection. And so that craving that will only be satisfied when you find someone that you can connect with on that type of level. But if you're putting conditions on those connections, if you're only telling yourself that I'm only going to have connections with people that can benefit me and more than just what the relationship offers, then more than likely what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of failing relationships. Now, this is not to mean that you shouldn't have standards. Of course you should have standards, but the standards that you have should be standards that you are already displaying. For example, you'll see guys who make standards of a girl has to be like an 8 out of 10, and on scale they might be a 5 out of 10. Doesn't really make sense, right? And I'm not judging anybody. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't want better and bigger things. What I'm saying is your standards are the lowest that you will ever go. Your standards are the foundation of the relationship. So my thing when I tell people that have standards is, those standards have to be things that you are already displaying, right? So if I'm a person that desires someone who is supportive of me, I have to be someone who is supportive of them. If I'm someone who wants someone who is caring and understanding, then I have to be someone who is also caring and understanding. That has to be reciprocated. If I'm asking for something that I cannot reciprocate, then my standards are way too high because I cannot deliver. I can't give what I'm asking for. And if I can't give what I'm asking for, then I won't get what I'm asking for. So when you guys get into these relationships, I want y'all to understand, man, the purpose of being in a relationship is to be in a relationship. And I say that because so many of us complicate relationships, and then we wonder why it's so hard to dictate what went wrong, why things didn't seem to work out. It's because we make things complicated. We add unsaid expectations. And what I mean by unsaid expectations is when you first meet the person, you said, hey, I want to do X, Y, and Z. But then as you go into the relationship, there's an expectation that you did not tell your partner. And now they're watching you kind of go around lollygagging and wondering why you're always sad. And you're not telling them that, hey, I wanted this other thing to happen, but I never told you. So I really want you guys to learn to simplify certain things. You have to simplify certain things. Stop telling yourself that it's complicated, because it's only complicated if you make it complicated. But if you simplify it, allow yourself to look at it from the simplest worldview and then go from there, oftentimes you can kind of find out where things went wrong. If the person that you are with is not the person that you're supposed to be with, it's a lot easier to be able to say, hey, you know what? This individual is not the one for me. But if you make things complicated, if you're so distracted because this person is a very attractive individual, but they're also a very crappy person, right? But you're only focusing on the fact that they're attractive, it makes the relationship complicated, because now you're trying to figure out, do you leave the relationship? But then you're like, oh, I want to leave, but then they're so attractive that I have to stay because I'm not going to find anybody like them. So guys, when you get into a relationship, understand the purpose of a relationship is to simply have a connection with the other person you're in a relationship with. If you're trying to add other things to that, it tends to kind of make the relationship unbalanced. One person's going to be working a lot more than the other person. Figure out what works for you. Find someone who you actually have a connection with, right? And then build the relationship off of that. And you might have more success going about it that way than trying to ask yourself, how does it benefit me? Because if you're looking for the benefits, you're not going to get them. The benefits never come before the actual relationship. They usually come over the course of the relationship. Anyway, guys, that's my word for the day. I hope it made sense. I hope you guys understood what I was trying to say. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because I'm trying to get rich and famous, and I can't do it without you guys' help. Deuces.